The player who most recently took out the trash starts the game. Give that player the die and set the tokens in the middle of the playing area. Shuffle the cards to create a draw deck and deal cards to each player based on their turn order. For example, player 1 gets 1 card, player 2 gets 2 cards, and so on. On your turn, roll the die and take the token that matches the die result. From there, you may decide to stop or continue rolling. Once you decide to stop, you may then activate each of the tokens you have collected in any order. Resolving each token is optional. If you decide to continue, roll the die again and take the corresponding token from that roll. You may continue rolling and taking tokens as long as you do not bust. Busting happens if you end your turn where the die result matches the token you've already taken. If you bust, don't resolve any tokens, but draw 1 card as a consolation prize. To prevent busting, you may save yourself by using a blammo card to re-roll the last rolled die and possibly change the result. Or, you may use a Nanners card to ignore the last roll entirely. If you manage to collect all 6 tokens without busting, you resolve those tokens and get to take another turn. However, the bonus turn is limited to 3 tokens. Trash can or tree. Draw 1 card into your hand or stash 1 card from your hand. 2 trash cans. Draw 2 cards into your hand. Paw. Steal 1 random card from the hand of another player. If that player has a Kitty or Fido card, they may use it to block this action. Bandit Mask. Draw and reveal the top card from the deck. Add that card to your hand. Each other player now has the opportunity to stash 1 card from their hand that matches the card drawn. These cards must be stashed face up. For each card the other players have stashed, you may draw 1 card and add it to your hand. 2 trees. Stash 2 cards from your hand. These cards are placed face down and kept hidden until the end of the game. Only stashed cards count as points at the end of the game. Recycle. Exchange an unused token with a token that was not previously taken. For example, if you have a steal token and a recycle token, you may want to use the recycle token to return the steal token, then take a different token. For example, 2 trash cans. Except for the Fido and Kitty cards, stash cards provide points at the end of the game. Each card also has an action that you may use during your turn, with the exception of Yum Yum, Fido, or Kitty, which are played on another player's turn. To activate the action, discard the card and then perform the action listed on the card. You may play any number of actions on your turn. The number in parentheses on each card indicates how many times that card shows up in the deck. Shiny. Trash Pandas love shiny objects. Use a shiny card to distract another player while you steal one of their stashed cards. Add that card to your hand. The target player may use a Fido or Kitty from their hand to block this action. If they do, discard the shiny card. Yum Yum, also known as chocolate. Yum Yum is not played on your own turn, but is instead played on another player's turn. It forces them to take an additional roll once they've decided to stop. That player must roll another die. This basically cancels out the player's previous decision to stop. If the player busts, they may use Blammo or Nanners as normal. If the player does not bust, they may decide to continue their turn instead of stopping as they had originally planned. Fiche. Stinky but tasty. Use a Fiche card to take 1 card in the discard pile. If possible, you may use that new card on the same turn. Pie. Everyone loves pizza. Use pie when resolving your dice results to activate 1 a second time. For example, if you use it to resolve a 2 trash can result, you would draw 4 cards instead of 2. Nanners. Trash Pandas go bananas for Nanners. Use the Nanners card to ignore the last die result and treat it as if you had decided to stop instead. Once a Nanners is played, you may not continue rolling unless another player uses a Yum Yum card on you.
Okay, I'm stopping.
Yum yum.
Blammo, also known as carbonated energy. Use a Blammo to re-roll a previously rolled die. This is often done to prevent a bust, but you may decide to re-roll a die before busting if you want to try for a different result. When stashed, Blammo cards are treated differently from the other point cards, as they are worth 1 point each, and the majority does not matter. Fido. This hulking dog is not happy about all this garbage shenanigans. When another player tries to steal from you, using Fido will prevent them from doing so. Discard the Fido card, and that player may not resolve their steal action. Also, Fido is a bit clumsy and has a habit of knocking over trash cans. When you are resolving dice results, playing Fido allows you to draw 1 card for each token you have taken. assuming you haven't busted. For example, if you end your turn with 3 tokens, you may discard a Fido card to draw 3 cards. Kitty. This cat is neither soft nor warm. It is a cold and evil ball of fur. If another player targets you with a steal action on their turn, you may use a kitty card to turn the tables on them. Instead of taking a random card from your hand, you take a random card from their hand. That player may use a Fido card or another kitty card to defend against this. Once the last card is drawn, the current player finishes their turn and the game ends. All players set aside any cards remaining in their hand, and these cards do not score any points. Next, all players reveal their stashed cards. Any stashed Fido or kitty cards do not score any points. Players then add up the total number of cards they have of each type. Players will score points for each type of card depending on how many they have collected in relation to the other players. The trophy icons at the bottom of the card show how many points are scored for first place, second place, and third place. This is based on who has a majority for that type of card. Players must have at least one card of a type in order to score any points for it. If there is a tie for a card type, the players involved in the tie receive 1 fewer point. For example, if 2 players each have 2 yum-yums and tie for the majority, both will score 3 points instead of 4. Players score 1 point for each Blammo card stashed. Players count up any points they have scored, and the player with the most points wins the game. Ties are broken by the player who is later in turn order.